you would like to see a robot that can travel up your arteries and fix a clog in your heart? How many of you would like to see a neural lace electronically that covers your brains and lets your provider, clinician know that you're about to have a stroke so they can intervene before it happens? How many of you would like to see a 3D printed robot that can create organs so you don't have to wait for organ donation?
Yeah.
Good. This speech has nothing to do with any of that. I'm kidding. So just rest assured that all these projects are being worked somewhere in my organization, and they're almost ready for prime time. So great news. So they're being worked on. But just as importantly, there is a division within Stryker, which is the company I work for, called sustainability. And what is it about? It is the grossest, most disgusting division in the entire country. Because what we do is we go out to the hospitals and we recover, collect, reprocess, and remanufacture used, dirty medical devices. And why do we do this? So 20 years ago, when the scare for HIV and AIDS was at its height, medical executives had this aha moment of how to make more money. So what they did was created these robust devices, charged $2,000, $3,000, and said, oh wait, you can use them only once because you're worried about AIDS, you're worried about HIV communication. So what happened was, stock markets did reward these executives, so they did more of that. Unfortunately, in addition to adding to the cost of healthcare, it also increased waste that healthcare generates into the environment. Today in the US, we generate 5.9 million tons of healthcare waste, and it all goes to the landfill or it gets incinerated. So what my division does is tries to divert as much of that as possible away from the landfill so you can reuse those devices. Because let's face it, those devices can go up to 10, 15, 20 more turns, but they get thrown away just because the FDA has said that it's single use only. So what we do is we collect it, take it apart, resubmit to the FDA, own the risk and liability for those products, and then send them back to the hospitals to be used again and again and again. So why do we do what we do? Well, for me, it's personal. I sent some pictures when I was a little girl, and if you could please circulate. The Bhopal gas tragedy was in 1984, and for those of you who have not maybe kept up with international industrial incidents, there was a leak of toxic gas from a plant called Union Carbide in 1984, and this gas leaked out and in 45 minutes had killed 3,000 people, left about 500,000 people without eyesight or some kind of horrific disaster in their lives. There still continues to be birth defects from it. There are issues with children with mental disorders, so very, very horrific. And in addition to that, the gas was heavier than air, so it stayed on the ground level. And who was impacted the most? Small children and little babies. So I was 5 years old then, and over the years, as the anniversary of that tragedy was brought back into the consciousness through media or any other conversation, I remember thinking, if I ever have a chance to do something about this, I will. And so 6 years ago, Stryker recruited me, and I had the option to work on these sexy new projects, nanobots and neural lace and disgusting reprocessing. And I was like, sign me up, I want to go for reprocessing. So how are we doing today? The news is not so great. Our industry has the highest emission of dioxin than any other industry. We send out PVC, mercury, we send out all kinds of carcinogens into the environment and not think about it. So it's the greatest paradox. In trying to take care of health, we've made health unsafe. But there is good news. Today we have a lot of can-do attitude, we have knowledge, we have expertise, and healthcare is definitely has the economic clout, it has the ability and the public credibility to do something about it. And so one thing that I've come here to ask is invest in reprocessing and remanufacturing. There are trade organizations that have things like 10 different things that you can do. Practice Green Health and Healthcare Without Harm are some of those organizations that ask you to do things for the environment. I only ask you to do this one thing: invest in this reprocessing and remanufacturing industry. And some of you may be thinking, well, I want to take care of the environment, but I'm also here to make money. So that's good, like I agree with you. So last year we spent some money, but we diverted 113 million pounds of trash from the landfills. And in doing so, we saved hospitals $326 million. And we don't have to stop there. We can divert, there's low-hanging fruit of 100 million pounds, and that's equivalent to $1 billion that hospitals can save. So there is social, moral, and economic benefits for investing in reprocessing. And I know we want to live in the sci-fi world, and that's possible. There are nanobots that are being made to target cancers. There are on-demand pharmacies for your cell phone. And healthcare executives can lead the charge in transforming this very, very important industry and lead the charge for a better, sustainable future. And that is sexy.